Welcome back, everybody.
Good afternoon, guys.
Joe here.
Kevin.
Okay, you guys have been waiting for this episode.
Yeah, no one spoiled anything because our people on Patreon are great
Everybody.
about spoilers, and YouTube as well too. Little slips, but nothing like catastrophic. But for the people on Patreon have been great. All we've gotten from them really is, I'm very excited about this next episode.
From most commenters,
From a lot of commenters said they're very excited for us to watch this next episode, which obviously got me excited.
What has me interested as well is not just this episode, but somebody said episode after this as well. And
Okay.
that caused some discourse as well. People were like, "Oh, you like this one?" And there was some back and forth, which I'm curious about as well because as you know, we've been enjoying this season.
Right.
Obviously, it's not for everybody, but I think it's been strong. I think it's been very consistent with the rest of the show.
I feel like it's there've been some for me, I get it because there's been more misses than we've had in the first 4 seasons, right?
Sure.
There've been a couple episodes like, yeah, okay, and then there's been moments where it's like that moment didn't hit for me like it usually does. But other than that, it's been a good season.
About as close to perfect as you can
get. It's going up against itself, which is hard to do.
Yeah. But yeah, the last week's episode it was about Ellie,
right,
and the idiocracy surrounding that. Obviously, I mean that woman was detestable. Not Ellie, the congresswoman that was after her.
Yeah, that was dumb. Politicizing what medical researchers are allowed to care about and what they're not.
It's their job.
No,
it's the medical researcher's job to research
there's
medicine and science.
Right. There's levels to these things, and expertise matter.
Yeah, it's all about discovery.
So I'm excited to get into this. As we do, I'm going to go and thank all of our Patreon subscribers for being here with us. I'd like to give a special shout out to Actuary Lurker, Balaj Foldez, Chris, Jeff, Christy Goverson, NJ, Suya Gundavarapu, Weird Magic, Torgeir Linkstad, Emily, Derek Peterson, and Where Panda 47. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, we're really happy you guys are here. If you're watching us on YouTube for the first time, welcome to our channel. If you might hit the like button for us, please leave us a comment down below. Hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with the content that's coming your way.
If you would like to see a full-length reaction to this and everything else we've watched or currently watching, please check out the link in the description below to our Patreon page. On every show, including The West Wing, we are at least 4 episodes ahead on Patreon and we're on YouTube. So watch the YouTube edits. You want to keep going, Patreon places you can do it.
Yep.
You will have to sync and watch along on your own source material there. You will only see and hear us for copyright purposes.
Yeah.
So this one is called The Supreme, so I'm guessing we are going to deal with the Supreme Court as a justice guide.
How are these people up so early?
It's a Supreme Court seat. They had sign painting parties the second Justice Brady dropped dead.
We need a short list by the end of the week.
Mine. Keep them quick. You got 3 judges an hour.
Oh my God. Who do you think they're going to get?
I don't know.
I hope a big actor again.
Well, not a big party.
Evelyn Baker Lang?
Fourth Circuit.
Is she kind of a lefty?
Decoy doctor. Don't do it in your office. Do it someplace where the press can see her.
Toby, Evelyn Baker Lang will be your 8:45 with Josh.
So they're bringing in Patsy.
Those people first want to find me a Supreme Court justice.
We can just chat.
Whoa! Oh my God!
Close?
Yeah.
I hear you really went to bat for Eric Hayden. I'm window dressing. That's fine. I'm happy to help. But let's just chat about the weather.
Somehow it's going to happen. You have Glenn Close here. Somehow she's going to
unless they get another big name.
Right.
It's like the episode of The Office. They're trying to find Michael's replacement.
Right. Yeah, Josh is going to find a way.
Yeah, for sure. It's her.
We sent flowers to the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court on the occasion of his death?
They're supposed to go to Justice Brady's family.
Oh,
You sent
no.
a funeral bouquet to the family of the living, breathing Chief Justice of the Supreme Court?
No, I sent him to the guy who died.
You go with Barwald or Lang, the Senate's going to make the next year of your life a living hell.
I can see how she got cast on The Wire. She's good.
We make any friends?
It's very
Maybe
nice.
Zimmerly?
Yeah, it is.
Mel Dow?
Lang was pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
She was a red flag to the bull.
Oh, it's working. Lisa Wolf from the Judiciary Committee showed up today spewing all kinds of threats.
I mean, I guess if you're trying to play everybody, there's as many things that'll make whoever happy as you can do.
Keep running into Brad Shelton in the parking lot. Some say coincidence. I'm not so sure.
You've been very patient.
But I don't position myself on issues. And I don't know what I think about a case until I hear it. But my allegiance to the eccentricities of a case will reliably outweigh my allegiance to any position you might wish I held.
He's just really honest.
Nice.
He's talking himself out of the job. Cool.
We march her to 5 senators' offices. They'll be so scared they'll beg us to put Shelton on the court.
Shelton's not going to be the guy, though.
But if they know, it'll be hard.
Roe v. Wade affords me the right to terminate
It
a
does.
pregnancy. and to do so free from all restraint or interference of others.
So she is a serious candidate?
She should be.
She's going to be on
for sure.
posters under a headline that says wanted for the murder of 15 million American children. She'd be publicly eviscerated.
27 million women voted for me. I think they might have had in mind that I was going to protect this particular right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We promised the committee a short list by Friday. I want her name on it.
Good. Very good.
President Bartlett coming in hot.
It's a cookie my mom sent them.
Yes.
Peanut butter with a chocolate kiss.
Two cats. Cat people.
For years, they only had one, but he died over Christmas. And they claimed that after 39 years of marriage, they've outgrown compromise, and they got both.
Josh got an
He
idea
got something
there.
They pick one. That's how we get Evie Lang. And not as a decoy. We put her on the court. Ashland resigns. She takes his seat, okay? And we offer the Republican Senate Judiciary Committee the opportunity to handpick a conservative for Brady's seat. They can't let Brady's seat go to a liberal, so let him keep it. Meanwhile, we name the first female Chief Justice of the Supreme Court in the nation's history.
Toby.
What about the vast arenas that debate a moderate
Toby.
won't even address? A mind like Lang's? Let them pick a conservative with a mind like Justice Brady had.
She's like a mom.
This is a great writing.
We go out on some limb here and alienate the Senate. They'll tread water for 3 years, and we get nobody.
That happened.
Sir, are you familiar with Evelyn Baker Lang?
Miss Lang, you've met with her.
Yes, sir. If you were to resign, she'd be chief.
I see. Jed Bartlett from New Hampshire had an idea.
Otherwise, it's get me. It's gonna get me a little bit.
Yeah.
He
said yes.
yeah, he's a good man. He is.
Josh spoke to Lisa Wolf.
Should I give you a name?
You are a faithless wench.
What's the name?
Christopher Mulready.
No substantive due process.
He's what, 48?
I know.
The left's going to blow a gasket.
No separation of church and state.
Well, this guy's hard, right?
We got a name for Brady's seat.
Somebody workable.
You can go in now.
Really? Well, so Toby's gonna surprise both of them at once with it. Cool. You can hear the yelling from outside.
Already?
Yeah.
Okay, we got Lang coming in to meet the president at 7. Christopher Mulready's at 8. Press can't see him. We need a clear shot from the Roosevelt Room to the Oval.
They're gonna pull this off.
This
yeah.
might be a mic drop moment.
Yeah.
Lang's still in there?
Oh, she's a big hit.
She has to leave. Her evil twin Skippy's on his way.
Apologies.
Oh, is that William Fichtner?
He's running behind schedule.
Fichtner?
I imagine that happens.
Doma denies access
No.
to over 1,000 federal protections.
To what?
Survivor benefits under Social Security.
$255? I'll write you a check.
One of the more unlikely meetings in the history of the Bartlett White House.
It's good to see you, Evie.
You too, Chris.
Mr. Ziegler was trying to convince me the Defense of Marriage Act is unconstitutional.
Oh, DOMA? He was trying to convince you.
Well, I wasn't doing a
He's
particularly
yanking your chain. He would never uphold DOMA. The issue
you
isn't
go.
privacy.
Or equal protection.
It's enumerated powers. He'll have an easier time knocking down DOMA than I will.
He's striking down gay marriage bans, and she's defending him. And they're as thick as thieves. And he's a fan of chain yanking.
Maybe this works because the guy's not that terrible.
And Lopez.
Lopez overturned 50 years of
Too
precedent.
bad. They wrote a plain text reading of the Commerce Clause does not afford Congress
A
to...
plain text reading of the Constitution.
This is weird.
I love it, actually.
It's great though.
You like him?
I hate him. I hate him. But he's brilliant.
It's him.
Yeah.
No tail. No cloven hoofs.
I understand that you and Judge Lang had a bit of a knockdown, drag-out.
She wants to federalize law enforcement. Who's at the top of the list?
Brad Shelton.
Really?
You don't like him? Plenty of good law written by the voices of moderation.
Who writes the extraordinary dissent? Some circuit court clerk digs it up at 3 in the morning. Brennan railing against censorship. They can't put me on the court. Just like you can't put Evelyn Lang on the court.
Moderates. That didn't into that being true.
Having served 32 years on the United States Supreme Court,
No, so he is resigning. This is going to work.
Sweet, yeah. Why a racial preference and not an economic one?
Because affirmative action is about a legacy of racial oppression.
It's about compromising admission standards.
That's bull.
Now, you want to come back at me with grading is based on past performance, but admission should be based on potential, on how a candidate may thrive with this sort of opportunity.
I like this guy, actually.
This is how this should be.
I love this. It's great. I'm kind of giddy about this.
Toby has a daughter, Molly, 10 months old. And someday, he'd like to give her this copy of the 14th Amendment, signed by the first woman to ever hold this job.
Oh, no kidding.
The Honorable Evelyn Baker Lang, nominee for Chief Justice, United States Supreme Court.
Yeah, how about some love for Josh on this
That's
one?
what I'm saying. Good, Adam.
Great.
Good job, Josh.
Yeah.
Way to save the day again.
God.
Fantastic.
I loved it. No notes.
You know, if you really boil it down, a perfect example of bipartisanship should be so we can hand it down to our kids. That's what this is.
That was
that's
my favorite episode of the season so
Me
far.
too. Me too. This and when they walked to the Capitol, that was
the shutdown.
Yeah.
This was beautiful, especially. I mean, obviously this was made in early 2000s.
2004-ish.
Yeah. But man, you jump ahead to what the Supreme Court crap has been for the last
grossness
8 years or so. This was, the chicanery of holding seats open versus rushing people through last second.
Overturning Roe v. Wade.
The absolute awful chicanery of Clarence Thomas. This was a nice episode to see the potential of what the Supreme Court is.
I agree with you 100%. This was a fantastic episode, and I think everybody should watch this. I mean, even if you don't watch The West Wing, just watch this episode. I mean, like, seriously, this is fantastic.
Well, I mean, when you had a liberal judge and a conservative judge who were very staunch in their beliefs in terms of their ideology, but both of them
to get along.
Well, it's not even this to get along. It's a simple fact that they care more about the rule of law.
Yep.
Than it's not like there wasn't Amy Coney Barrett there or what's his name? Who I hate so much?
Brett Kavanaugh.
Yeah, Brett Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
There wasn't that, let me in the court so my ideology can run wild and I can shape the world the way I want.
They're in service of something.
Yeah, absolutely. The law. They're there in service and interpretation of the law.
Yeah.
And they both really worked. And having them argue, I love that idea of dissent mattering, right?
Yeah.
The justices rule one way, but someone writes a dissenting opinion that has influence years later down the road for somebody else on another case, in somebody else's growth, in the country's growth. Then that coming again from the guy who, before we met him, thought he sounded like a right-wing monster.
Yeah.
This was beautiful.
They reveal things so well.
Yeah,
I mean, they tell you a bunch of stuff about somebody, so you have like this perception of them, and they actually introduce the character, and you're like, oh,
yeah, exactly. I feel like even from a character standpoint, this was the best written episode of the season. This was fantastic. And of course, can you do better casting than this?
No, you can't.
Right there,
truly, you really can't, because William Fichtner is a big name. He's a very accomplished character actor, been in a million things. And then you get Glenn Close as the cherry on top.
Glenn Close is the headliner. Yeah, Glenn Close is. We're probably not going to see either one of them again. This is probably a one-off, and I don't care. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. I mean, like, I would assume that in the last season of the show that we're going to see some faces we've seen before. Sure. You can bring back a John Goodman. You can bring back an Oliver Platt. Glenn Close, obviously. I mean, like, there's so many famous people on this show, so many fantastic actors, and they know how to use them, man. They really do.
This was spectacular.
Absolutely.
All right, appreciate it, guys. We will see you next week.
See ya.